Take the Leap is the podcast where we get real about the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship and life. Sure, some folks make running a business look like a walk in the park, but let's be honest, it's more like a wild ride through a theme park with a lot of unexpected twists and turns.
Join us, your co-hosts, Ashlan
and Tory,
as we spill the beans on our own real-life experiences and shine a spotlight on some amazing guests. From the highs of success stories to the lows of epic failures. And hey, we'll even throw in some cringe-worthy, laugh-out-loud, embarrassing moments for good measure.
So buckle up and tune in every Tuesday and Thursday for a dose of raw, unfiltered truth about what it's really like to chase your dreams and build a business.
Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just dipping your toes into the startup world, we've got something for everyone. Even if it's just to make you think, wow, I'm glad I didn't do what they did.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to Take the Leap. Ashlan, I'm so excited to see you. I'm doubly excited because I get to see your beautiful face in person in a couple of days, so I cannot wait.
Yes, I know. I'm so stoked. Yeah,
it's gonna be great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, welcome back. Today's episode, we're going to be chatting and debriefing from Anna Goodwin's episode last week, which was incredible. It was kind of funny because we had recorded that later in the year last year. And so I was listening to it and we were talking about fall weather and how like the weather was going back and forth and being really, really crazy and weird. And I just find it really hilarious because now we're in the spring and we've published that. Mm-hmm. And this week, Portland is having like an early spring, summer. Like I did not wear a coat today. Like I've been out in the sunshine the last few days. It has been incredible. My mood has been outstanding since the sunshine came out, which you know what? I feel like this must be what you feel like, Ashlan, now that you do not live here anymore.
All the time. Yeah. I hope you guys are enjoying the February fake out. I'm really sad that it's going to be. So when I first looked at the weather to pack for this coming trip, it was going to be dry, but colder, much colder than we are here. And now it's going to rain like the entire time I'm there. So I'm like, I don't know what I expected. It's Portland. Right. It is what it is. But, you know, I have enough layers and things that I am bringing that I will be fine. But it makes me sad.
So. You know, we're soaking up the last bit of it today before it changes. We're going to go to the food carts tonight for dinner and just soak up the sun because tomorrow it's going away. Probably forever. Or it's going to feel that way.
For at least another 4 months until after the 4th of July.
Exactly. Yeah. So if any of you live in Portland, you know exactly what we're talking about right now. Mm-hmm. But anyway, back to Anna's episode. I love talking to her. She is incredible. And you know this, I buy some of her outfits that she sells. Mm-hmm. She does it's not just like really cute baby clothes. It's really high quality outfits. And even like for toddlers too. Like my toddler still wears his and they last a long time. And it's just so creative what she's doing. I love it. I love it so much. But beyond that, a lot of the conversations we had about entrepreneurship and running a business really had to do with her values and why she runs the business that she does. She really focuses on ethical and sustainable products and best practices. She talked a lot about, like fast fashion and overconsumption. And so I really want to break that down today because I feel like, and one of the things I'm going to mention is today is that we're recording is February 28th, which is the economic blackout day, kind of in protest of these big corporations and overconsumption with these corporations. And so, right now, if you're participating, you are not spending your money with big corporations, but you're focusing on local businesses. And so, I think that's really important to highlight that as we're talking about it, I just think it's really interesting, and I want to circle back to that in just a minute. So let's first talk about ethical, sustainable business practices. I think one of the best things about owning your own business is you get to do what you want, and you really get to hone in on the values that are really important to you. And so if you're not finding products or the companies that do what it is that you need, that like align with your values, you're also able to run your own business that aligns with your own values. And so I think that's really important. And I want to know, Ashlan, if that resonates with you and like how you run your business a little bit differently because of that.
Totally. I mean, I think the choices that we make, who we work with, who we partner up with, things that we choose to buy, and then the things that we choose not to buy in business are all super, super important. There's all, of course, like the functional elements, of business, but even things like, do you hire BIPOC contractors? Do you work, a lot of the folks that I work with are other women. Who is it that you are choosing to make a part of the business? And, what are those choices that align? Or, even like you and I both work from home. And so, we're not commuting. We're kind of using things in a different way than you would normally do. Or, are there opportunities, to, oh gosh, what's a good example? Like, are there other opportunities to like reduce your footprint out there as well? So, like, I know I've used like a lot of like sustainable products when it comes to different things, in my home. So, from the laundry detergent that I use to the dishwashing liquid that I use, we try to pay really close attention to like what comes in plastic and what doesn't, and how we can work towards, making sure that that gets recycled. Although that's a whole other ball game when it comes to what does and doesn't get recycled, as well. But I think the biggest thing is being conscious of it and having intention around it, and choosing the things that seem like reasonable to you. Like, we can't, unless you're like living completely off grid, detached from everything, everything, and producing like all your own food and all of that, you're still having to choose how you participate like in our economy and our marketplace. But you can make choices like buying from, small local retailers, or, just supporting small businesses and the decisions that you make. Or, I mean, you and I have talked about before, we're both guilty of using Amazon, but, anytime I've ever decided to do an order, I'm like, do I need this right now? Is it out of convenience? Is there a local store that I can drive to? What is the real purpose of pushing that button, that buy now button, and choosing the routes to basically put your money into better places where you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's just such a good reminder that our the only way that we're going to be able to make any sort of real change at this point in time as consumers is with our dollars. And
Mhm.
so even though it may be more convenient to shop with bigger retailers, with big corporations, if we are able to put our dollars in our local economy versus
Mm.
kind of with them, um, that's going to go far further, and it's going to speak louder than anything else
Mhm.
at the moment. And That said, I know that it's easier said than done. And I also know that, it does take a bit of privilege to be able to make choices like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, depending on where you live, depending on your financial status, depending on 1,000 different factors, that's not really an option. And so, yeah, I just kind of wanted to acknowledge that. But
Mhm.
also, that's one of the best things about owning a business, kind of like you said, is like you get to really make those decisions for yourself. And I think, we're service-based businesses. And so choosing the folks that we work with, and we do marketing. So choosing the folks that we help promote and that we help grow, that like if I feel good about the company or the nonprofit or the person that I'm working with, and I'm helping them grow and they help their community as well, that at the end of the day really aligns with my values and makes me feel good.
Mhm.
I have worked with people and clients in the past who I didn't feel good about, and I did end up moving on from because it just didn't align values wise. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's really important to think about that.
Yeah. When it's really funny. I was just chatting with somebody who works at one of the nonprofits that I work with, who's thinking about starting her own business because their organization is choosing a really intentional exit because of funding. And in a couple of weeks we're going to have an episode that talks about everything that is happening with nonprofits right now. So I like that you said that feeling good about choosing who you work with. But that is another place that folks have an opportunity, to spend their dollars is donating to nonprofits. Our nonprofit community does so much in our country that honestly, if everybody paid taxes, including the corporations, would be managed by the government.
Yeah,
And, not saying that the government does things effectively or efficiently, but a lot of nonprofits are filling that gap when it comes to, helping youth who are being impacted by, parents who are incarcerated, having been impacted by the foster care system or child welfare system, or, just folks who are having a hard time making ends meet, but really do want to actively like participate in society and, move on from their current situation. So I think that's a rambly way of saying that like supporting nonprofits is super important. But getting back to said person, we were talking about like things that I recommended to her to think about as she thinks about journeying into um, starting her own business. And one of the things that I said is get like really clear on your values and who you do and don't want to work with, and the kind of work that you do and don't want to do. Because you and I have said it before, we have a major abundance mindset. Like there is more work out there than any one person can do. But part of the main thing of getting that work is having clarity of what it is that you provide, and what your values are as far as like your boundaries are for what you will and won't do is going to be just super, super important.
absolutely. I agree with that. I love that. Well, and kind of bleeding into this, the next thing that we really focused on, which I would say was overconsumption and fast fashion. And then we also talked about de-influencing. And you and I have actually done an episode on de-influencing before. And it's it's such a big topic.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a big
Yeah.
thing. We spend like nobody's business. Like I don't need 99% of the things that I add to cart and then pay to have delivered to me within the next 12 to 24 hours. I don't need them. I mean, the only argument I would make for that is like when my son was an infant and like we were going through diapers like crazy and formula and things like that, and like we needed things very
Yeah.
quickly. Other than that, there hasn't really been a point in my life personally that I've actually needed things that quickly
Yeah.
or needed that many things. Um, I've just wanted them, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I
Mm-hmm.
think part of this whole really taking a look at this economic blackout and really taking a look at making sure that you're supporting local businesses instead of big corporations. I think it's not just a day-long protest in my mind. I think it's really like a big lifestyle that I think we could all benefit from, regardless of if you're a business owner or not, right? Like, I feel like we have just been trained as a society to get instant gratification, to, oh, this person says I need it, so therefore I need to buy it. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been influenced because of TikTok to buy something really stupid. Um, and I didn't need that thing. Like, I really didn't. And I'm not saying that, like, you should never splurge on things. I'm just saying that it happens so automatically that I think all of us could benefit from just implementing a process of like, do I need that thing? Do I really need that thing? You know, or do I want that thing, but do I want it bad enough to where I'm going to get that, but maybe not something else, you know? I think uh, I don't exactly know what I'm trying to say here, but it's
Yeah.
such a big thing. It's taken over society. And I feel like if we could all just kind of start thinking, huh, is this something I'm going to throw away in 2 months? Or
Right.
is this something that's actually going to make me happy right now?
Yeah. Well, I guess I have a really good example. So I have only bought from Temu one time in my entire life. I got tricked. Well, I didn't get tricked by an ad. I did get tricked by an ad. It was going to give me 90% off. There was a backpack. It's a travel backpack. It's the travel backpack that I'm going to use to come this weekend. And it has like one of those things that like expands or whatnot. So that was a good part of the purchase. But you know, they make you buy like a certain, I think I had to buy like six or seven things in order to get the backpack that would have normally been like $100 for like 20.
Right.
So, you know, I was tricked. Backpack is still going strong, but you know, I got basically like a fake, what is the Theragun, the fake massage gun. It worked great for 3 months and then it completely died. It is dead. So that now that is plastic that is in a landfill somewhere, because no matter what we did, it would not come back to life. And then there's like a handful of other things that I have no idea where they are because the only thing I really cared about was the backpack, you know? And so I think if we start to think in those ways of, one, do I really, really need it?
Right.
Two, you know, is getting that deal causing you to pull things into your orbit that you didn't really need in the first place? And then it's all about behavior change, right? We have to be like intentional and like think and slow down a little bit to make sure that things are actually like needed and necessary. Or, you know, like a long time ago when I used to work or when I used to go to Powell's Books, I finally had to make a list of like every book I owned in the bookshelf because there were a few times that I repurchased a book that was like on my to be read list, only to find out when I went to go put it away that I already had a copy. You know, so yeah, I think it's like slowing down, really thinking about it, or making it a little more special by setting like time frames for yourself where you do get like a little bit of a reward. But yeah, we could probably each individually take a look at like everything we've bought in the past year and been like, how often did I use it? And did it end up, you know, just going to like Goodwill, the landfill, re-gifted or something like that, and be a little bit more, I guess, strategic with our dollars, or an intentional, or you know what, something that Anna did say was just like thrift or make your own, which like, so I love this dress. I actually think I'm wearing this dress in the episode that we recorded with Anna. It has like a little hole in the side of it, but I love it so much. And I'm like, maybe I should learn to sew so I can like pattern this dress and have it in perpetuity, because it is so comfortable. But of course that would require taking time, getting some damn sewing lessons. So then like finding fabric that I want. But yeah, I think I bought this dress at Fred Meyer in 2015 for like $20 because it was on sale. And so my husband always says, he's like, why did you get like 5 more of them? I was like, because at the time I did not need 5 of them. But yeah. But yeah,
Exactly. Well,
always
and
an
just
option.
kind of round that topic out and put a cherry on it. I think community is also really important, and there are ways that you can get what you need and or want
Yeah,
without necessarily buying everything. You
absolutely.
can, I mean, first of all, with the book conversation, our libraries need all the support they can get right now. So support your
Yes.
local library, please, 100%. And I am guilty of doing the same exact thing you did.
Well,
I've bought the same books over and over again.
yes.
I've bought more books than I've ever needed. And I'm never going to stop buying books. I'll be honest with you about that.
Same.
But I have been more intentional and better about renting them from my library as well. And you can, nowadays, you can also rent audiobooks, you can rent ebooks, like
Yep.
you're not just committing to like a paperback to read.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
so
share with
that's,
friends. I always borrow from the library of Tory.
yep. And borrow from your friends, have like a book exchange day. Um, and then how else can you apply that to your life, right? Like I'm a part of a lot of moms groups. Like we pass clothes back and forth between each other. If I had like a little I had like some diapers left over that weren't in his size and gave some to somebody I knew. Like I've seen people who are like, hey, we're all done with formula and we still have 2 cans. Who needs them? Um, how can you like really get involved with your community and do things that way? Like, can you trade bread for eggs? Can you know what I mean? Like how like I
Mhm.
think we've talked a lot about community and like how can you utilize your community in the next few years to really get through some of these challenging times. And I think that applies to all areas of life. Like we need community as humans. So how can we
Mhm.
come together as a community and help each other out? And I think that really applies to this concept of our economy as well and buying and overspending.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
connectedness is super important. Well, I mean, even if we look back at COVID when we had like an epidemic of like loneliness and people not
yeah,
being able to connect with other people. So I'm very, not that not that COVID is not a thing anymore. It's just,
right.
it's morphed into something different. But yeah, being on the more optimistic side that there are people out there in your community to get involved with and connect with, and not be so insulated and individual and on your own.
Absolutely. Agreed. Well, Ashlyn, before we wrap up today, we're going to end our solo episode with our wins and things to do better. So, why don't you start off with what is your win for the week?
So we've referenced that I am traveling.
Yes.
I'm a cheapo, and I fly on Spirit because it's dirt cheap and you do what you do. So I packed super early because I had to figure out if things were going to fit. So I did, bad on me, but they'll last for a long time. Get the vacuum seal bag things from Amazon so I can stuff more clothes for the cold weather into the
Right.
bags. And then made my list of like the last things that have to be packed in there, like medication and stuff like that. But yeah, I hate last minute packing, and I love knowing that I just have to throw a few more things into my bag before I go.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
How about
I'm
you?
impressed.
Yeah, this was on Tuesday. Well, I also do it because I want to make sure I don't wear clothes that I want to wear on the trip too.
Fair.
So,
Fair.
but what was your win for this week?
So, my win for this week, I'm going to claim the sunshine as my win because we've been, and granted, last week my son was sick. And so this week we're not sick anymore, but like he was sick and then it was very rainy. And we've been cooped up and a little bit grumpy in the house for a while. So when that sunshine came out this week, we We've been outside every day. We've been having a great time. So I'm going to count that as my win for the week because it has improved our moods just 100%.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
And what's the thing you need to work on this week?
My do better is to tackle like the little things that keep getting bumped on my task list. So like if it's gonna take, less than 5 minutes, less than an hour, just do them and get them off. Like I feel like there's one that I keep like moving in my list that I'm like, why? What is my resistance to finishing this? So I'm using travel as like ultimately it needs to happen today because yeah, I'm gonna leave tomorrow and I don't want to have to keep moving those.
That's fair.
Yeah. How about you? What's your do better?
My do better is to work on regulating my nervous system. I was doing really good at that for a little bit at the beginning of the year, and then I kind of just like dipped off. And what I mean by that is like I have a lot of anxiety. I have like a lot that I'm just like processing on a regular basis. And in response, my body is always like like in that like fight or flight mode. And the only thing that I have discovered that stops it is to like pay attention to it and then do something that just is for me that calms my body down. And so I was for a while there, I was like listening to audiobooks while puzzling and like calming audiobooks, not like, things that would stress you out. Like I was listening to Jane Austen and like doing puzzles. Like that was really helpful for me. Sometimes it's taking a bath, sometimes it's going on a walk, but whatever it is, like I can physically feel my entire body just like, okay, we're safe. We're safe. It's fine. Everything's fine. And I was doing really good at that for a while. And then I just kind of stopped. And so I really noticed it this week. And it really was messing with me this week. And so that is my do better. I need to kind of get that back into my habit and my routine.
Awesome.
So, well, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Ashlan. This is a great conversation. If you have not listened yet to the episode with Anna, please go check it out. It was really amazing. I think you'll like it. And until next time, we will see you again soon. Please feel free to like and subscribe. Leave us a review if you feel like it. And if you have any questions or you have any guests that you want us to interview, please make sure to reach out to us. You can send us a DM on Instagram. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Take the Leap podcast. We hope you found useful takeaways you can apply to your entrepreneurial journey. Subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and keep in touch and follow us on Instagram. If you have business questions, shoot us a direct message or leave us a comment. We'll try to cover it in an upcoming episode. And visit our website, taketheleap-today.com for more resources like our online course that accompanies this podcast.